welcome back to Rebook, the show where we talk about the men and women who are in the middle of the square circle and they're slapping me and they're telling stories in the process. Of course, I'm Golden Boy. You got Jake and Matt. So we're going to break down all the latest in wrestling storylines this week, and there has been some awesome events across the board. I mean, outside of the fact that this week has been one of the craziest weeks in modern United States history for professional wrestling, it was another momentous week of great shows across the board. First things first, though, we're going to talk about TNA Slammiversary, baby, because that was an awesome show. You'll also notice that we got some new graphics for our special 30th episode. This is our 30th episode, by the way. We've done, we kind of cheated though, because we did a period where we were releasing 2 episodes a week and I was calling them normal episodes, but honestly, it's like, whose line is it anyway, right? It's like, you know, the rules don't really make sense. I'm just going with it as we go. Good news for us is that we have someone who was present while all of this was happening live in Canada, and his name is the Drama King. Matt, you killed it. Great show, as always. Thanks, also, we got a Rebook shout out, which you did not need to do, but that was awesome. So
hey, I'm a Hannah fan.
Thank you, Hannah fan. Yeah,
I was shot a brief mention to Golden Boy, and Tom took the baton and put it over the show.
Yeah,
I know. I just stopped. And then like
I geeked out a little bit.
Yeah.
I paused it. I rewinded it.
What happened? I was like, they just said that's our.
Called my wife into the room.
He said our.
They said the thing.
I helped make that. Yeah. It was awesome.
It was awesome. So great show, though. How was it for you, Matt? Because you guys had a full, sold out crowd. The crowd was hot. It seemed like a great time.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. It was we've been talking about its biggest show in like 10 years or close to it. And like, I don't know how many tickets were sold before the day, but by the time we packed everybody in and like walk-ups and standing room and all that, like, I don't have a final number. We were close to 4,000, which for us is like, that's double anything that I've been there for.
Yeah.
And yeah, the building was full. The energy was great. The first time we've been in Montreal, I think in like 12 years, it was like 2011, 2012, the last time TNA was in Montreal in general. So those fans, I mean, all the way back to the infamous 97 days, right? Incredible wrestling fans all over Canada, but Montreal especially. So it was, the energy was on another level. It was very cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and they had a lot of reasons to cheer because there was a lot of great matches. And we had a ton of title changes, which was, I did not expect that going into it. I thought we were going to get maybe 1 or 2. I didn't think we were going to get 4, I think was the total.
Yep.
First big title change is the Digital Media Championship going over to PCO. AJ, poor guy, just can't seem to catch a break. He lost both belts, right? He lost the belt that he brought in and
the belt he purchased.
The belt he purchased,
which is a real title.
Yeah. Which promotion? Is that NWA?
It was like territorial in the Quebec wrestling scene, like Canada.
So that makes it even better because then it's like you get that tie into it as well.
Yeah, so I think that was a bit of a shoot real life Carl Ouellette PCO idea, which is like we wanted to introduce coming back to Montreal. Hit PCO from the WWF days to Ring of Honor to TNA had never wrestled on TV in Montreal until this weekend. 30 plus years in the business.
That's crazy.
Never did it. They did house shows galore and they've done live events and he's done like indie shows, stuff like that. But like on TV for a major company, he's never done it. And that was a title like that growing up in the business was like big in the territory days when he was young. And so like they found the belt or whatever, it's not in use anymore, but they did it. And then we had the whole story where AJ Francis bought it and declared himself
the
longest running international heavyweight wrestling champion of the modern era, which I thought was a really funny, clever thing from AJ. He's like, just call me the longest reigning of the modern era.
Yep.
And which I thought was funny.
I liked it a lot. I thought that was a fun, a fun match, fun story.
Oh yeah,
fun everything.
Gaga all over the place.
And I love First Class. I think First Class is, I really do want to see where they can go with this group, because it's they're entertaining, and that's all you could possibly ask for.
And they're great heels that you want to see.
Exactly, you want to see them lose
at some point. Yeah,
they make you care about their matches because they're such shits. Like, it's great. It's like what the bad guy's supposed to do. We had more matches. We got to see Jake's new friend, Speedball Mike Bailey, become the new X Division champion, second time, I believe, or third. I think it's second. And another great match.
That match was fantastic.
Jake, what you thought of it?
I thought it was exactly how you make an overbooked mess. Like, I mean it in the best of ways. Like, it was, because it felt like it had everything. Like, it was a fantastic match. And then here comes fucking Earl Hebner.
That shit sent me. That was so funny.
I was like, get out. I could not believe that.
We saved his soul.
And saved his soul.
We redeemed Earl Hebner, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. You got a crowd in Montreal to cheer Earl Hebner.
Yeah, it's true.
And
that was
nice. Something a little behind the scenes inside baseball. I won't blow up his spot too much, but got to talk to Earl a little bit over the weekend, and like talking to Ali as they were putting it together and everything too. Like, he was like, even 30 years later or whatever, 28 years later, whatever, 27, when Tommy Dreamer like called him and everything like that, and then when he was talking to Ali about doing it, like deadpan, dead ass was like, I don't know, man. Like, I get it's been a while. Like, I'm not like, I don't know if someone's gonna throw something at me. If someone's like,
he's older now,
and they just have such strong memories of that time. Like, he was just like, this might ruin the show. Like, he was legitimately like nervous.
That makes me sad. Yeah.
No, he's like, he's like, I only would have taken a call from like Tommy or Gail Kim. Those are the only people I would have said yes to. And then once I was here, he goes, you gave me something. He was telling us this the next day. He goes, this company gave me something I never thought I would get, which was like another opportunity here and to do something like this. So like, it both in a very wild, over the top, entertaining fashion in the match, but then like in a very real way, like it just helped him. Like, I never thought I'd be here again, get a chance to be in front of these people again, ever again. And like, to do that was just awesome.
Yeah. You have a kayfabe redemption with
a real life one.
And then you have a real life. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. But I mean, it was a great match. I mean, like, even with the Earl stuff aside, like, it was just, it was so well done. The crowd was so behind Mike. I was shocked. I was shocked at the ending. It was great. I really did not expect Ali to let go of that thing. I thought he had a death grip on that title, and it was fantastic.
If you notice, they worked the production team.
No,
in the middle of it.
Really? In which way?
They did I won't say what, but there's a false finish, kind of towards the end that you'll notice looks familiar to a situation from several years back, but where they did a cover and pulled all the way back. Ali's foot touched the rope, counted the 3, and then saw the foot.
Yeah.
Which they knew it. Referee knew they were going to do that. I knew they were, so we jumped all over it. But they played Mike's music. That was not planned. Yeah. Because the production just thought that was the end of the match. It made it even better because it calmed down and everybody booed. And it allowed them even more heat and more time to sell it. It was really fun.
Yeah, they built that match very, very well. They and that, I think, was not shocking given the individuals involved. But now I'm curious what's next. I really do want to know what's next. What's next for Ali? Right? Does he take a little bit of a break right now from TNA and goes and does other things in New Japan, or do we continue to see Ali maybe move up, right? Because now there's another face champion that just so happened to be crowned at this event that I would love to see him scrap with Ali. We'll talk more about that in a second. Other big title change that happened was ABC becoming the new tag team champions after defeating the System in a fucking great match.
Another great match.
Holy shit. Put that match in front of anyone and be like, tell me you didn't enjoy this right now and tell me why you're not giving them all your money. Because it was such a fantastic match. Which I would definitely say of all the title matches heading into this one was the one that was least interested in because ABC hadn't really been scrapping much with the System. Like, yes, we were getting some things, but the System were preoccupied with other things. So, but I also think that did lend a little bit to the story of the System, maybe doubting ABC being such a formidable tag team, you know, like, and they've been champs before. So it's kind of interesting that the System's hubris kind of caught up to them there.
Well, and like to your point, like, the whole story with it was a little less involved because it was more of just an extended contractual rematch. They were finally enacting it from back at Sacrifice back in March or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So they were just like, it was getting ready. They were finally felt ready to do it, and they did it. But the System distracted with all the Moose world title stuff and doing his bidding and the Hardys and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe, kind of distracted them, kept their eye off the ball with ABC, and they paid for it.
Yeah. So I really did enjoy that match. And I also don't think you need to have too many crazy stories for tag team wrestling, you know, because tag team wrestling is just fun in of itself. Like if you get two teams that have excellent chemistry with one another, then you get a match like what we saw that night. Yeah.
They sure did too. That man, that was fantastic. And that was another one that I didn't expect because the System's just, you know, again, had a stranglehold
so
on
strong
the entirety of TNA.
I was convinced we were going for a System way longer with how they were just being built to be such a force. You know?
Were you upset that the airlines kind of spoiled Slammiversary since the System is down?
Yeah.
I mean...
No, but I'm upset now.
The System got CrowdStrike.
Now I'm upset. Yeah.
The System got CrowdStrike. Oh, the amount of times I made that joke on air at VCT because we had our finals this weekend. It's just the amount of CrowdStrike jokes that I made.
There's so many. Because
we're never
it
getting
has
that sponsor.
That sharp. It has such a sharp, cool sounding name. There are so many like video game references. People said, "Isn't that the guy from Final Fantasy VII?"
Yeah, CrowdStrike for Cloud Strife.
Yeah,
so good.
There's a gun. There's a gun in Destiny called Cloud Strike.
Oh my god!
So everybody was putting memes with the gun and everything like that. Yeah, like
so
it has just such a. Yeah, it was great.
So easy. But yeah, excellent couple matches there. You had some other matches on the card as well. Mike Santana went up against Jake something. That one, I'll be honest, I love seeing Mike Santana wrestle always. He's entertaining always, but that was just a match. There wasn't really much else to it. You also had JDC versus Matt Hardy that kind of tied up that feud. But again,
Rascals and No Quarter Catch Crew.
That actually was a really fun one. I enjoyed really that a lot. Yeah. I
wish, my only wish was that we would, and this is the hard thing with like NXT's live, we're taped and this, this relationship back and forth. I would have loved to see the full reunited West with the Rascals until our pay-per-view if possible. I'm being a little selfish. I know they did it at NXT because of the timing. But it would have been really nice to see them kind of.
I think that would have been a really cool surprise moment if they would have went for that. But I mean, it's completely fine. I still enjoyed the hell out of it. I didn't know about the connection that Wesley had, so I thought it was pretty funny how like wrestling always makes me laugh whenever we talk about what someone was formerly known as, because it just. It's like this thing that people dance around in a very.
We know who it is. Just say their name.
We
now.
know who it is, but it was like because his name in TNA was
Desmond Xavier.
Desmond Xavier,
yeah.
Yeah. So, which again, I wasn't too familiar with because I wasn't watching a lot of TNA back then, so I wasn't all that up to speed on that. But when he said that, and he was like, everyone knows him as Desmond Xavier, but he's now Wesley. I was just like, oh man, that's great. It's like when Shawn Spears showed up on NXT and they like briefly mentioned him being known as Ty Dillinger, but now goes as Shawn Spears. It's just like, It's just silliness. It's wrestling. You know,
Right.
it's the shit we love. All right, but moving on to
with Bray Wyatt, they weren't like formerly Husky Harris.
That's true, but
that would
we avoided that.
That would have totally killed the mystique.
Yeah, glad we killed that one because that was not a good name at all. And moving on to the Knockouts World Championship that took place at the show at Slammiversary. You had Ash by Elegance taking on Jordan Grace. Give me more. Give me more Ash by Elegance and Jordan Grace. I thought that first time that we finally got to see Jordan Grace, like, in a match, like, I loved the story of her having watched her, so she knew what was to come. They played into that a few times.
Yeah.
So I like that. I would have liked to have played into that a little bit more. Actually, I think it would have been cool if she'd have like Taskmaster did it. Like, I think we said that last week, right? Or it would have been cool if it was like more of a Taskmaster type of thing where it's like she sees Jordan do something and then she does the same thing as well. I thought that would have been cool, but I would love to see more of this or how they get to that point. But man, they got how the hell they're going to get that belt off of Jordan? I have no idea.
I thought it was Ash's best match in her career, quite honestly.
For sure.
It was fantastic. So. And I think even that Canadian crowd was surprised by the excellence of elegance.
Yes, love that. That's so good. So
I did use your watching tape reference.
Oh, you did?
Did you?
During the match.
Yeah.
I did. I look over at Tom and I'm like, you talk about tape, that's a sports thing, right? You review the tape of who you're going to play.
That's right. I forgot.
I said, and I was like, there's a lot of tape on Jordan, not so much on Ash. Maybe that's her advantage.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
But like, I mean, it was great. And what was fun about it is you didn't know what to expect from it because, with her now being Ash by Elegance, we don't know who this is. We don't know how she wrestles.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was like, I don't know. I thought she did incredibly well.
She's a great new bad guy for TNA.
She is. She really is a great new bad guy for TNA. I thought she did so well. Like I said, well in the match and in the ring. And she's got her gimmick nailed, which is
yes. And that was the one thing they played into she's been watching her. That's true. But I also wish they would have, especially after maybe that didn't work. Like, I countered this, but man, Jordan still got it. I countered this thing that I've seen a dozen times, but man, Jordan's still stopping me.
Yeah.
Then, because Jordan's had a lot of strong competitive matches with people, whether like open challenges or like a lot of babyface, like, just like, best wrestlers in the world kind of runs, right? Like before that, she was wrestling Trinity and like Deanna and all. It was just like two incredible wrestlers. Here, she's got a very character-driven heel. I would have loved to see Ash do a little bit more like, as she got more desperate. Man, my tape study didn't work. Let me see all the foot on the ropes, pulling the tights, pulling the hair. Like, I felt like there could have been
I want to see her put on some powder in the middle of the match, and when the ref's not looking, she like blows some of it in Jordan's face or something. Like, give me something.
Like Jordan, she's faced all like the best wrestlers, but she's faced some good heels, but like just straight up like bottom barrel desperate heels, doing every little thing, pulling the wool, literally the hood over them, and hockey fight, like those kind of cheap heels.
Only question was that I only real if we were doing ups and downs, would be my only real down because I didn't understand it, but maybe you can explain. When Rosemary showed up to force a personal concierge away, I was kind of confused. It was like, that's a little random, but I mean, I'm never mad about seeing Rosemary on screen, but it was just a little weird that it just like happened. And was there a previous story connection to that? Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not super in depth yet, but I believe on 2 separate occasions over the last like 4 weeks, when Ash and him have been out there, we've highlighted her in the crowd, like under a light, like from the rafters or from the crowd.
Okay, I missed
kind of
that.
stalking them.
Lurking.
lurking. Yes. So like that has been shown before. And
so now it was
so
like kind of just struck.
It was more, it was the closest they had gotten physically, and she pulled a knife on him. So yeah, he was gonna run like hell.
Well, I think that tells us exactly where Ash by Elegance is going to be going post this, and if anything, that's good because you can kind of get Ash fighting TNA mainstay, and you get yourself
2 strong characters.
Exactly, you get yourself very different characters as well. So that should create some really fun moments. Curious to see where that goes. And then for Jordynne Grace, I mean, I don't know at this point. I don't know. I just don't know what you do. I still think that at this point, your best option is to give the belt to Ash, but she needs a little bit more, I think before that moment comes. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Then we talk about the six man elimination match. Whew. Good Lord.
It's a marathon, baby.
We knew it was going to be a banger. We just didn't expect it to like be what it was. I was convinced that this was just going to be Moose surviving against the best that TNA has to offer. Little did I know was that Moose was out of there. I thought it was
early too.
I thought he was number 2, right? I think it was number 2.
Second guy eliminated.
Yeah. I thought Joe Hendry and Moose were going to scrap at the end and then Moose was going to win. Nope. But people have thoughts about this match. I like the result, but I want to hear some perspective. So we'll talk about this and then we'll move on to some WWE stuff. So Jake, what'd you think?
I understand that like the injuries lit the industry on fire. Right. He is so wildly popular. He is so wildly over with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
He's like another LA Knight to me. Like like in that same vein of like
lightning in a bottle.
How lightning in a bottle, how can you not love the guy? But there's a history within just the industry. The lightning in the bottle guy doesn't always get it doesn't always get the title or doesn't always get that bit when you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want the guy just to be a flash in the pan. You want to continue to develop him and you want to continue to, show more growth in the character because really he's only freshly a face.
Yeah.
And really he's kind of only a face because of the crowd's reaction to him.
Yeah.
Well, he's been a face for like 2 years.
Well, but I mean, like,
but he wasn't a face.
But I mean, like,
he was a
although
weird
I didn't feel
place.
like he was. Yeah, I didn't feel like he was when we were there necessarily.
No.
He was a strong
before we got there. Before we went to Rebellion, he was in a feud.
AJ Francis.
No, it was someone else before that.
It was the one before,
and he was the face, or he was the heel in that one. And I don't remember
which. He's not been a heel since about a month after he debuted back at BFG 2022.
Really? Because damn,
we gotta
go back and look. No, well, I'm telling you right now, it's a presentation problem then because I thought the same thing.
One of his early feuds was him and Moose over the digital media title, and Moose was a certified heel.
Yes,
and that was right when they realized, oh shoot, this guy we brought in as a heel, people think is really funny and entertaining. So we're gonna make him kind of we're gonna keep his personality, but make him a babyface, and that's when he won the digital media title, and he's been a babyface ever since.
Yeah, but I know what Jake is talking about because I was watching prior to the AJ Francis feud. I forget who he was matching up against, but the reactions were very odd. And it felt like he was coming into it as a bad guy. That doesn't matter, though.
Right.
Point is, he's still the lightning in the bottle guy.
He's
no matter how you
still the
shape
lightning
it.
in the bottle guy. Yeah, I mean, like he still is, and just like they didn't pull the trigger with with LA Knight yet. Like they didn't pull the trigger with Jey Uso, which some people have an issue with.
Yeah.
But and even with Sami Zayn, I mean, it's like, I think to me, we want to build him to be more than just the guy of now. We want him to be the guy of the future,
Yeah.
right? Like let's keep building him. It's the same thing that they did with Cody Rhodes in WrestleMania 39 here. Is kind of how I feel like that. Because even though he didn't win, he fucking pinned Moose.
Thank you. I was gonna say that he pinned the
Moose.
champion. He beat the
Clean.
champion. He beat him. Like no matter how you shake it, that's the story right there.
Yes.
The story isn't Joe Hendry lost. No, the story is that he's the only person who actually defeated Moose.
Right. He's the only one who beat Moose. And if you think about it, even when you have Nemeth win, this created like 5 different story possibilities easily.
Sure.
And there are 4 people at minimum who have some claim to the next match for that title. At least.
Yeah.
Because certainly Frankie Kazarian can say that because he was the second guy left. Certainly Josh Alexander can say the same thing. And then you've also got Hendry and you've got Moose so 5.
Yeah.
There's 5 people who have rightful claim to this title.
And we had Josh Alexander become a bad guy. Did not see that one coming.
Out of
freaking thin air, and it worked.
And it was beautiful the way they did it too, because you had to do it on Hendry.
Yeah.
If you were going to turn him, having him turn on Hendry, especially after he just pinned Moose, was
perfect. Was
perfect.
And also
everyone hates him now.
you now get this bad guy who is like a freaking legit badass, which is what they're doing with Braun Breaker. But they've already done that with the walking weapon. They've already done it. They've already established him as one of the baddest men in all of professional wrestling. He doesn't need to be a chicken shit heel. He needs to beat the shit out of people viciously. I cannot wait. It's like a new era for Josh Alexander. It's going to be so exciting. And then, of course, Nick Nemeth walks away as the new TNA World Champion. I thought it was perfectly great. I am more than okay with it. Nick Nemeth is a guy who you can put the company on and he will continuously impress. Great promo, great in the ring. Now we just need to see where the story goes from here for him. Matt, I know you don't know where things go after you kind of just find out as things happen.
I mean,
where would you like it to go? Where would you? Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Matt is the Jon Snow of TNA. He's a central character who's on the show every week, but he knows nothing.
Yeah.
It's true.
But where would you like to see Nick Nemeth go? Like pick some names out of a hat.
So again, I do have a little bit of foresight because we taped 2 weeks of television after Slammiversary. So, but we're just starting to lay the groundwork for some stuff, and I don't know exactly where. But to kind of I think you're right. To wrap up all your points, there's still so many people from that match who have these legitimate arguments for getting a one-on-one title match, right?
Yeah.
And everything like that. I think Joe getting screwed by Josh. You have Joe and Josh, if you want. You have Josh, who was pissed off at people loving the song and dance guy.
Yeah.
And he's the best wrestler on the planet and was the face of the company for 3 years. And now everybody loves the music video dude.
And now they love the guy who came from outside as well, because you can also target that toward Nick Nemeth.
So, and which without giving too much away, you'll see a little bit of that. He's got his eyes set on the world title, of course.
Of course.
But Joe is there. You're going to see Joe, I think, continue to get more kind of main event face time a little bit. With Joe, I think we were worried. We were worried a little bit. I was like, take it. The crowd chanted bullshit. And they were upset, which is good. But we're like, is this heat good, or is this you made the wrong choice and we're just gonna get booed for the rest of the match?
I never believe in that, honestly. I don't believe in that.
That's why I wasn't it was a thought, but I wasn't overly concerned.
Yeah.
And then to me, I'm like, but that's almost good. This could be his Daniel Bryan Royal Rumble appearance.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it. They cheered for it all night. They didn't get it, but over that next year, they got to it.
Yeah.
And I think this could be the start of that run for Joe as he starts building.
But again, just the fact that he pinned Moose, elevated.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's up there. He is because that was one question everybody had too, is he was just looked at as the, music video guy and more of a Wildly popular, almost more of a comedy act in a way. And this dude putting Moose's shoulders to the mat for a 3 count. You have to immediately take Joe Hendry seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks so good too. I mean,
and it was
the
great.
slam. Oh God, it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Joe showed off some great strength during that match. And
everybody
you just saw
shined in that match.
Like
Yeah.
everybody looked great. Steve Macklin looked great. He was the
he
first
had his
one
moments
out.
too.
It was great having him back and yeah, everyone had their moment in this match. Everyone looked great, and there are so many storylines that you can get out of this.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
many places.
It's going to be awesome. Of course,
Yeah.
what's next for the system? We'll just have to find out. Make sure we all check out some Impact, whether you do so like myself on YouTube for $1 or TNA Plus. You could do that. Check it out. And on Access as well on TV, right? Access TV, I think it is.
Yes.
So make sure you get out there. No reason not to. At the very least, subscribe to them on YouTube. Like, I guarantee you won't be disappointed because they upload full matches of legacy
All the
matches.
time.
They upload full segments from current episodes as well as highlights. And also something that I've been doing a lot more lately has been watching the highlights across all 3 like main promotions for their shows. And it's actually quite great and pretty informative. So I would encourage everyone to do that too if you're struggling to keep up with pro wrestling, because let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff out there. Speaking of, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic of discussion, because we got to see Cody Rhodes get beaten up by the Bloodline. Again, I feel like we did this last week. We're not going to spend too much time on this, but I do want to point out to people before they get too bent out of shape here, this isn't a bad thing. If anything, it just reinforces the viciousness of the Bloodline more and more and more as they take down the people who were the biggest thorns of the old Bloodline, right? So there's like seeds that are being planted here.
I think it's just more of the question of the execution, right?
Has it been bad though? I don't think the execution's been pretty solid.
Right, but I think the idea of like a little bit of a lack of creativity in the execution. The idea,
fair.
The story of like,
Sometimes
all right, Cody,
you want to see an artist play more than just their greatest hit.
yeah, and like we saw, all right, they had that. It was Randy and KO and everything like that. Those were the guys currently kind of at Cody's side. So we're gonna take them down one by one. We're gonna make you watch. That story makes total sense. But I think the argument is like, can we do it in a slightly just different way, as instead of just like, hold you down, beat him up at ringside, watch that thing, put him through a table or whatever it is. It's, I don't know, do it in the backstage, hit him with a car. I don't know, light their gear on fire or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
have their
flatten them
limousine
underneath
explode
a
when they get
container.
through,
I don't know, put some dynamite in their room and then just see what happens, you know?
Yeah. Like
something
cartoon
just
shit.
other than a beat down at
Paint a
ringside.
tunnel.
I also
and
love
see
it
if
too
he runs
because
through it.
on the commentary too, they were like, and then Cody Rhodes had to just sit there and watch his friend get viciously beaten and then put through this table right here. And I'm like, motherfucker, people get put through this table all the time. This table's right. This table is literally only existence is so that human bodies can get tossed into them.
Just
You
to
think
be
this shit holds
collapsed,
water? You know what I mean? Like that's all it's there for. I thought that was funny, and I do agree with that. It is a little silly in that regard, but I also question though for the panel, because is it that there are other storylines that are just so good in WWE TV right now that if this was the only storyline, like if let's say SmackDown was the only show that WWE did, right? Would we be like, this is kind of lame? Or would we be like, oh, this is actually they're like, you know, calling back to like what they had just done and be like, or is it, or am I smoking, or am I tripping?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think both can be true. I think that's probably a valid argument, but I do still think they could vary how they break Cody down week to week. They could just vary it up a little bit.
Yeah, like do a backstage thing. You know what I mean? Like
change a venue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the beatdown.
Because it feels like a reboot of a show we just watched.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
Because it's just the Bloodline beating the shit out of Cody again. Yeah. So like I agree. mix it up a little bit. He can still get shit kicked out of him. Just kick the shit out of him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or in a new or in a new way, or be more violent with his friends and he's not there. Like if they had attacked Kevin before he came out, or and just we want to, we've been on the island of relevancy, and your island is going to be an island of isolation.
Yeah.
Where we want anyone who wants to get near you or thinks about getting near you will be put down.
Yeah.
And you will have no one that wants to help you, because that's what won it for Cody last time, right? Stop trying to take down Cody. Start trying to take down people who like Cody, who would help Cody. Isolate him. That's what I want to, the kind of thing I want to see from this new bloodline, is learn from the past a little and don't just rehash.
How did Cody surmount the Everest that was Roman Reigns? Power of friendship. Every RPG we've ever played has told us this. You want to kill God? The power of friendship kills gods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all his buddies gathered around him, supported him, literally ran into the match to defend him. So he owes a lot to that. So I love that. So isolate him and conquer would be this new bloodline.
Which you need to illustrate that, and beating up, upcoming, what is it? Hall of Famer on top. Actually, two really upcoming Hall of Famers. Back-to-back weeks makes sense. We'll see what happens next week. So for now, I'm just going to put a pin on this because there's not really much else to break down, and we'll see where this goes from here. But as we continue to talk more about what happened in WWE this week, SmackDown overall was a pretty decent-ish show. I won't lie. There's been so much that's happened since then that a lot of the stuff from SmackDown kind of faded from memory for me. I don't know if that is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. The LA Knight thing was pretty entertaining, but that again, it's just a classic promo. Hey, I want to beat you. No, you can. Yes, I can. No, you can, and I'll tell you why. So we'll see where that continues to boil toward, but doesn't mean it's bad whatsoever. And then same thing for Bayley and Nia Jax. I think that feud is still continuing to blossom and develop as well. Now, as we look forward, though, to Monday Night Raw, much different show. Much different show. I right now would say it's the best show in pro wrestling currently. I think right now, I think that it's ebbs and flows, but Monday Night Raw has been knocking it out of the park week in and week out. There have been some great moments there. Dom broke Liv's heart. Rhea Ripley just full on licked Dom, and it was wild. We got to see
your territory.
Got to see Jey Uso, Sami Zayn get back together. We got to see them take on the Judgment Day as well. We got some more Braun Breaker movement. We got more with Gunther and Damien Priest. Let's talk more. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a sec. We also
Punk and Drew.
Let's start with Punk and Drew. There were a lot of storyline developments from this thing, and I'm Seth being put in as a special guest referee makes so much sense, because I didn't see it coming. But I like it. Because
I like it a lot.
When you think about every instance that has occurred between these two guys, who was the one that was affected each and every time? It was fucking Seth.
He's got a bone to pick with both of them, technically.
Exactly. So now that he is the special guest referee for this matchup, and if CM Punk and Drew McIntyre lay hands on one another, the match is called off. Does that narratively make sense? If they lay hands on each other, the match is called off. Does that make sense in that, why would they want the match? Shouldn't they just want to beat each other up? Or does it fit? Does it work?
But that's not the point.
Okay.
The point is, we're still a TV show about a sports wrestling company. Management wants the match for their pay-per-view. So they know, and again, in the story, these guys want to kill each other.
Yeah.
And so if we let them get they might not make it to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So Adam Pearce and management are like, look, this is going to happen. This is going to happen, but you guys can't, if you guys lay a finger on each other, you don't get your revenge.
Yeah.
Save it for the big night, and we're going to settle it all, which of course they won't.
Right. But then also, like, to me, this makes the feud a little more fun.
Yeah.
Because now it forces creativity of like, well, we can't just have them beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And they can really, like, this is where you can see, since they're both so heelish.
And they're great talkers.
They're great with the mental and psychological aspect of feuding, and like, just have them like, I always love those situations where you see there's a stipulation, you can't touch until the match, and the heel just tries to get the
it's very classic. Yeah, it's a good trope.
And now they're both doing it to each other, and they can both get real sick and twisted with it.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, so you're right. And I even in my head, I was about to be like, oh man, can you imagine that? But it is a unique scenario where neither guy wants that match to go away. Normally the heel wants to avoid the match, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to put my title on the line. I don't want to fight you straight up, but they both want it. So is there any benefit for either one of them to try to goad the other one into fighting them? Not really.
No.
I kept thinking of ways like Drew could
Unless
torture
you're trying
Punk
to get out of the
into hitting him.
match.
Yeah, but neither one of them are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's true. But also, I mean, I could see Drew just goading Punk just because he's just like, yeah, I mean, I want to show everyone.
Can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I can do whatever the hell I want. You want to come put your hands on me? Come put your hands on me. It's not going to end well for you in two different ways. But until then, I got carte blanche to do and say whatever the hell I want, as long as I don't physically touch you.
Yeah.
That
and I'm
could get
expecting
real dangerous.
next week's promos to be quite spicy.
Pretty personal.
So
I think they're gonna go pretty hard in the
yeah. Be ready, everyone. By the time we come back from Monday Night Raw, I don't know, one or both are canceled. We'll find out next time. But yeah, so we'll be keeping eyes on that. As far as other things that had happened, you continue to get this Judgment Day kind of thing. I really do like the way that they've kind of built the Judgment Day, or like, you could tell that this team is losing control of the lockdown that they've had on Monday Night Raw.
They've lost the plot.
They've lost the plot. They're going around hunting people, trying to find where folks are. They have no control over it. Like, it is really cool to see this breakdown here. But what was even cooler was seeing Sammy and Jay get back together. I thought that was like a really fun moment. And if anything, I think it just continues to lend more to the theory that I think everyone now is plainly seeing. And I mean, we've been saying it for a few weeks, but everyone's been kind of noticing it. This has to end with War Games Survivor Series, Bloodline new versus Bloodline old. And you're already planting the seeds here. I was also watching Simon Miller's Ups and Downs, and he had said it for the Sammy segment. He was like, Sami Zayn will drop the Intercontinental title of Braun Breaker at SummerSlam. And I do think that is a reality. And again, not mad about it, because they have done a brilliant fucking job around the Intercontinental Championship division. Every IC title connected match, banger. Everyone.
Yeah.
Storylines, bangers. All of them. Like, because I consider like Bronson Reed and Sheamus, even though that one's been a little weird, a little odd, I still think that story's been doing pretty okay for three characters that two of them were connected loosely, even though he was called Butch, now he's Pete Dunne, and then the other ones, Bronson Reed's kind of been circling around it. So, dude, IC title's been great, man. I'm a nerd for it.
I don't know how I felt about how that match ended.
I wasn't too crazy about it.
It did seem like they wanted like a kind of non-ending to keep them both looking good.
Yeah.
Because the ref just calling off the match felt a little odd. So part of me still thinks it's going to be a triple threat, because I think Ilya can come and be like, he didn't pin me. The ref called it off. Like, no one gave me the opportunity to say yes or no, I'm going to continue this thing. Like, stay the fuck out of my way and let me go, win this match. I think it could still end up being a triple threat, and I'm not going to be mad at that one bit.
Yeah.
If that's what comes of it.
Yeah. I'm not mad about that either. I totally agree. Matt, anything you want to add before we move forward?
No, I'm with that.
Yeah, no, it's there is a lot of really good stuff happening over in the IC title division that I wish was kind of being rubbed off on the US title, but I think we just got to get the belt off of Logan Paul at this point
so too.
in order for that to happen. So we'll see post SummerSlam where that breaks down. Then we move forward to the thing that, oh no, that's the wrong topic. There we go. We move forward to, man, this feud went from
0.
Okay, I'm excited, I think, to like, fuck yeah, let these motherfuckers kill each other.
This is
in.
That was an A+ opening segment to Raw.
Yeah.
Like it's 100% what this feud needed.
Yeah.
Like, and it's 100% what Priest needed. Priest needed to come out and I'm done talking with you. I'm done with everyone disrespecting me. I'm done with everyone talking their shit. You want to fight, and then let's fight.
Yeah.
Like that is exactly what Priest needed. And it could not have happened at a better time. That segment alone, honestly, I think did its job of like casting a little doubt of like, oh, okay, Priest ain't playing.
Yeah.
He's done playing.
Kicked the shit out of Gunther too.
And
that was
kicked
great.
the shit out of Gunther.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And then and went on the offensive twice.
Yeah, they made him the aggressor, which was good.
Yeah.
And it was and it was perfect because Gunther has great heat on him. Absolutely great heat. Like he was really getting booed last night. He didn't really have to say much. He's like, last week what I said, and
the crowd popped
and he goes,
when Damien Priest came out.
Oh yeah. It was exactly what this feud needed. It just strapped a rocket to it. I can't wait. I can't wait for this match at SummerSlam.
This has become my most excited match for all of SummerSlam, despite the fact that it is the shortest build.
It might still be Liv and Mommy for me. I might still
maybe, but I have a feeling we're gonna get some shenanigans on that one. But
they took Priest and Gunther from a de facto match because of King of the Ring, right? It didn't matter who was champion. Gunther had a title shot, so it was just whoever was champ at the time, which was Priest. They took it from that and they made it into something. Because I saw them trying to do it last week, and I thought it was a good promo last week. But I was like, okay, will this be enough to get some steam? I'm like, wait, what else are we going to do? Like, it's
but
nice
it laid a base.
Good step up in the promo department from Priest. And I think they probably saw that and were like, that was good. Let's add on to that with this, and then making him the aggressor because Gunther's got heat. Priest does not have sympathy yet, though. Yeah, I don't think. And people but he doesn't have that. Like if they would, because if Gunther normally, Gunther, Sami Zayn, Gunther probably would have just beat the shit out of Sami Zayn. Good sympathy, good heat out of that.
Yeah.
But Priest don't have that level of like sympathy with the crowd yet. They don't think he's cool, but we're not like heartstrings attached to him quite yet. But seeing him fire up and continue and go after Gunther, even all the way into the back, I think gives us a little bit of like, all right, that could be our guy. That could be our guy, which then can eventually lead to sympathy, etc., when necessary down the line.
Yeah, because also I think when you take the belt away from Damien Priest, right? You want the reaction from people to be like, no, and not, it makes sense. Right? Like you want that. And where SummerSlam was going, it was like, it makes sense. But now that we're getting here, it's definitely going to be this more like, oh no, I want this Priest with the belt more, please. And then that's what you build off of, right? Because Damien Priest as a character on the show needed like his own rogues gallery, if you will, to deal with. Right? He was dealing with the the echoes of the past, of Seth Rollins' past. You know what I mean? Characters like Jey Uso, right? Characters like himself, like Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, right? Like he was dealing with those people. He needed someone that he could deal with, someone that was unique to his story. And Gunther is unique to his story. So it's now nice to see and I like that they tied all the other stuff that had happened before that. The legitimate reason for Gunther saying, I brought prestige to the Intercontinental title, I brought prestige to the King of the Ring, and I will bring prestige to the World Heavyweight Championship, because that is what I do. I bring prestige to things. Meanwhile, Damien Priest, this guy can't even win a match by himself. You know, like it's just so freaking good. I'm excited for it, but
I'm surprised Gunther hasn't said, you know, I've and maybe he will. I've brought prestige to this title just by being associated.
Well, he keeps asking for Priest to just turn it over. He keeps telling him, just give me the belt, because you holding it does nothing. Me holding it does everything. Right. You know, it's brilliant. Yeah. It genuinely is great. I really like it. It's different. We haven't had that in a while. You know, give me more of that. Put that shit in my veins. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. We could talk about it briefly before we move on. Just because of the like we didn't get a chance to really dive into it, but Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. What'd you guys think of the talking segment? What'd you think of the Liv turning away crying, Tom the lick, and the whole 9 yards? Jake, I know you've been keeping close attention to this feud.
Well, the lick. Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, you know, when there's a donut you don't want anyone else to put their mouth on, what do? You lick it.
It's true. And if there's one thing Dominic Mysterio is, it's a donut. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man.
But I thought it was good. I think there's so much that's going unsaid, and there's so many loose ends that's why I'm excited about this match, because I feel like it's about to, when this match happens, by the time the bell rings at SummerSlam, crowning either a new champion or still reigning champion.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of answers, I think. And some of them that may just bring up more questions. That's why I'm so excited about this match, because it feels like there's so much tied to this. Could easily, there could easily be something involved in Damien's match. There 100% will be something that happens in the women's match. I don't know if we're going to see a Raw men's tag match or not for the titles, but like, I don't know. There's just so many questions that have been unanswered that's what makes me most interesting about this. It makes me most interested. Because I just think that we're going to be getting a lot of answers.
There's tons.
Yeah.
What I loved about this segment and this feud, it's so funny. Rhea Ripley, who for a long time was essentially a heel, but became so overwhelmingly popular, they're a babyface de facto. Especially, of course, after she returned.
Yeah.
Is paired up closely and intimately with Dominic Mysterio, one of the people who gets the most heat out of almost any character in the company.
It's crazy.
One of the strongest baby faces and strongest heels are like an on-screen couple. It's freaking great. Yeah. Liv in this story, paired up against Rhea, big heel. People kind of like Liv, but still, she's clearly the big heel in the story, right? And everything. I think people do treat her accordingly.
Yeah.
But then Dom spurning her. Boo you, Dom. They wanted him to say, I love you. I feel like the audience did want, and they booed when he said no. Which, minor, how do you miss the moment? Dom, come on. This is such a, Jake, you'll appreciate this as like a writer and kind of like for film and stuff like that. She asked Dom, I want to hear you say those 3 words. You say, I hate you.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I
so he
love mommy.
Right, I love mommy, right?
Yeah.
But he said 4 words. He goes, I hate you, Liv. But and then he just kept talking. I'm like, no, that's the moment you say 3 words and then you punch whoever you need to in the gut emotionally.
The amount of words he said in Spanish to her, though, were brutal. I'm just gonna tell you all right now.
Dude, I fucking love that. And I know, GB, you love that. I love seeing that. I mean, get the number. Maybe people get. I freaking love it. The fact that he does that, and he did that last night. I don't think people understand, especially like American viewers, how huge your Spanish speaking audience is for pro wrestling and WWE. Gigantic.
Yeah.
So like you are including a whole sector of your audience, even just by splitting your promo up like that.
Yeah.
It's really fucking cool.
Culture's mixed, man. Where that's the time we're in, and it makes sense. And those words, you can hear Dom's words. You don't need to know Spanish. You can hear Dom's words. You can hear the tone, the inflection, what he was saying.
I didn't know exactly, but I know
it was clear. He was telling her that she was a dang Jezebel, and there was an absolute bad decision to get into cahoots with her. But we know that there is more meat on that bone. So we will be keeping eyes on that one. That moves us on to some AEW. We had Dynamite 250, which is crazy to think Dynamite already has hit 250 episodes, which is a massive achievement. So congratulations to those guys. And they kicked it off with what can only be described as one of the most batshit crazy matches the AEW has ever put on. And they've done some wild stuff. So this tells you how wild this was. MJF, Will Ospreay, almost 1 freaking hour, because it was an hour time limit. And they say that for the championship matches, and they never use it. They finally used it. And it was fantastic. Both men like doing everything in their physical power to stay up. But in the end, it came down to MJF being a little shit and getting the win, courtesy of that damn ring. Matt, what did you think of the matchup? Did you get a chance to watch some of it?
Yes. I thought it was really, really good. And one of the things I pointed out in talking to people I know in production, even those matches, especially when you want to do like WWE used to do like the beat the clock challenge, anything with a clock is always tough. Cause like, you kind of got to do it for real-ish. You have to follow an actual time as opposed to just like, you've got 15 to 18 minutes, right? Somewhere in that zone. You got to kind of, and to come down to the wire the way they did without feeling like they were like
feeding the clock into you.
We're 20 seconds, ahead of time. I'm going to slowly crawl. We already did our final spot into the ring and then grab a leg and then pull it, and then put my arm over it. 7, like that. It happens all the time. But they legitimately went
slow climb up the ladder.
Go, and they got right to the end with like 6 seconds to go. So they finished. They'll say it's 59-59, but legitimate. Like you saw it. It was they were the 57-58 when they got that 1, 2, 3, which is incredibly difficult to pull off.
Yeah.
As far as talent,
I just feel like you just needed, for the sake of the story, you just needed to be within 10 seconds. I wouldn't be shocked if that's like what they were shooting for.
I wouldn't have been mad at any of it.
Yeah, because I think
they got it so close.
Yeah, you got if you get it that close and without going, doing the whole time limit draw, which AEW has done a ton. So I was a little worried that they were going to lean into that trope again, and then we'll do it again at Wembley. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. But this time around they actually went for it. But the visual of MJF gripping to the oxygen mask as he is holding the title over his head is just so MJF, and to me it was hilarious. Just the whole time, because it's so absurd. Will Ospreay's like getting up or whatever, and then MJF's like it's just the absurdity of it all. But I mean, that's what Max does. That's his character. That's how he, and it also really pushes this whole thing of like, bro, MJF nearly ran out of the air he needs in his lungs. That is how difficult it was to defeat Will Ospreay. I think also
I'm
lent to that too.
50-50 on that.
Really? I loved it. I thought it was so silly. This cross-eyed look too is so stupid.
It was. And like,
See if
so
I can
like
find
there
the
is a
picture.
part of me that was just like, I love Goofy, and he's a heel. So yeah, just squeaking by, right? I could barely keep up with the athlete, Will Ospreay. I was hanging on by the skin of my teeth kind of thing, and I had to go to my ring. And so, look, I did it. And then, there'll be all those pictures, but then of course he's going to brag like, I'm the best wrestler in the world and everything, even though he was clinging to life.
Yeah.
The other side of me, and I would give credit to a meme, there's a little bit of like, don't we tout wrestlers as the best athletes on the planet? And like he's had like 40-minute matches with like Daniel Bryan before where he was fine. And there was a joke, and this is all jokes, I understand it, but it was kind of funny. And I don't know which choice is right, but somebody put a clip of Shawn Michaels, John Cena, the hour-long match on Raw they had. They're like, these guys goes, 58 minutes on Raw, and at the end of it, Shawn Michaels is crotch chopping and telling Cena to suck it and everything that. And he was 46 years old at the time. Right. Meanwhile, 20-something MJF is sucking to life for wrestling for an hour. Like,
yeah.
Again, it's jokes, but so that's why I'm kind of like split on it. I'm like, I don't know what we get out of it other than like, haha.
Well, I think that what it was that was the length that it took to defeat Will Ospreay. Is like kind of how because they've done such a great job of making Will Ospreay just seem like the final boss, right? So that when Swerve beat him, it like took everything, right? But Swerve was a champion, so it makes sense. It worked out. But like MJF, he was also a champion, but he got into the ring with Will Ospreay, and he also got taken to the absolute limit. And I think that's really what it was pushing. But go for it, Jake. I saw you were going to say something.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I can 100%. I can 100% see that. It only makes sense because it's Will Ospreay. I think removed in any other situation.
Yeah, any other situation, it's like, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense. I agree.
So
with Matt wholeheartedly.
But like,
because Ospreay is really quick. So you think because Ospreay is the guy who's go, he's that kind of style.
Yeah.
And
so also MJF
extra,
is not that kind of wrestler, right?
Generally,
Which they've also reinforced multiple times too. So
right.
I can see that.
But I have generally very positive feelings about the match. There are a couple of like things that bothered me. But I'll leave let me start with the good. MJF is a modern Ric Flair reboot.
Yeah.
And I mean that with the utmost respect. Like after this match, how can anyone doubt that MJF is worth every dollar AEW is paying him and more? Because he did hang in there with Will Ospreay. I mean, that's all that anybody ever talks about. Greatest wrestler in the world, greatest wrestler in the world, greatest wrestler in the world. And he just went 60 minutes.
Yeah.
With the best in the world and matched him very well. I mean, like they're while MJF is more of like almost kind of a brawler type, he does break out athletic and acrobatic moves when he needs them and does them surprisingly well. It's just not his style, but the fact that he was able to not completely go toe to toe with Ospreay on that, because how can you go toe to toe with a guy who moves like Spider-Man? But like he still really hung in there with Ospreay and looked really good in the process. The things I would nitpick though, why does the ref not give a shit about the rules?
Yeah. That's I've heard that complaint a lot. Yeah.
Across AEW in general, and
then that's what I was about to say. Is
they tend to be more lenient in championship matches. Commentary does have a tendency to say that. They're like,
referee's discretion.
Bryce Remsburg just wants to see this match go, so he's going to let that one fly. Something like that. Shouldn't it
kind of be the opposite? I mean, you don't just like the best example was when they go into the crowd and fight, and then 10 minutes later, after they've been in the ring for a little bit, now there's a count out.
Yeah,
it's inconsistency,
brother. Yes. Make up your mind. Like that's the only thing is like give me some kind of consistency. Like it just. I don't know.
That happened in another match recently too. It wasn't AEW though. It was either TNA or it was WWE. And I remember someone just kept getting outside of the ring. and then they were like, and then the countdown would start, and then
but 12 minutes into the match, they're getting out a table, and it's like, and the ref's just like, well, I guess.
It was TNA, GB.
It was TNA, right? And
it
then
was
like
Sami Callihan and Gresham, I think.
Yes.
Me and Tom were like, what is happening?
Yes.
A little bit. We were like, they started on the floor, rolled right back to the floor, and kept having to do the little break. Like, and the referee was giving him a lot. The first like 6 minutes of like a 10-minute match were for some reason was just fighting on the floor.
Yeah.
And it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was a little odd. And I've seen that happen a lot. It must be a bitch though to keep that aligned if you're the referee. But yeah, you're right on that, Jake. That
kind of bothered me. And look, if you wanna get technical, that little girl interfered on behalf of Will Ospreay. So MJF should have won by disqualification anyway.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
It's outside interference. That little girl, outside interference.
But that was a 10 out of 10 moment.
It was fantastic.
The dad
and MJF giving her the finger.
Yeah, the dad shared it on social media from his perspective, and the little girl turned around, and she just goes.
That little girl was so hyped.
Like that the whole time, arms waving all over the place. It was absolutely adorable. But how dare she? Absolute cheater. You know,
but,
lock her up.
How are we raising the youth of America?
Right, just criminals all around us.
And I've gone back and forth on the ending because part of me feels like I kind of have two conflicting feelings about it. Of MJF cheated. I get it. It's MJF. Does that undermine the fact that they just went 60 minutes a little bit? Because
Not
part
really.
of me feels like,
but I get what you're saying.
Part of me feels like if he was going to cheat,
why not do it in the first 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Why not? Why did he wait 59 minutes to do it?
Well, I will say this. And playing devil's advocate to that.
Especially
with the devil.
With how loose we're playing with all the rules and regulations of wrestling.
That I get. And something I love, and I don't think it would take an hour, but I do like this in longer match because there's a lot of there are a lot of heels like, well, they cheated to win. Why didn't they just cheat in the first? Why did they pull the tights in the first 30 seconds? So the old adage would be, MJF is so cocky that he truly believed he could get it done in probably
that was
20
what I
minutes.
thought too.
And then it's like, I can't get it. I can't get it. Are you kidding me? I thought I could really beat this motherfucker. Well, all right, I'm just gonna have to go to what I know will beat him.
Yeah,
and turn to that. He was so cocky that he thought he could beat him straight up, and it just kept failing him. So he gets frustrated. That's the age-old heel motivation. Yeah. I think I can beat you. I'm so arrogant that I can, but then you can't, and you resort to underhanded means.
Yeah,
right.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
That is a really, really good call. I will say as well, when it comes down to the rules in professional wrestling, so this is, I will never forget this. It's a quick aside, and then we'll move on. But I went to a Smackdown show many years ago with my wife and my brother-in-law and his wife, and we were watching. I forget what it was, but it was a no DQ match, right? So the match starts, and they start hitting each other with weapons and whatnot. And my sister-in-law, Kara, she looks at me and she goes, "Why are they using? Before they weren't using weapons. Why are they using weapons now?" And it was like, oh, it's because it's no disqualification. So that's like, that's the point of the match. It's like anything goes. She was like, so wait a minute. So can like one of the guys just go up and just like constantly punch a guy in the nuts if they want? And then wouldn't that like let them win? And I was like, well, yes, in theory. She's like, so you can like start the match, go and kick a guy in the nuts and just start wailing at his testicles to the point where he can't get up. And then you just pin him and you win. That should be how you do it, right? And I was like,
yes, it is.
Yeah,
and she's right.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense. So I was like, but that's just not how it works in wrestling.
right.
And I always remember that.
Yeah, because there are times like,
because there's always going to be a simplistic answer for it. Right?
Sure. But there are times that I wish like faces would be smart and not honorable.
Yeah.
Because because I'm like, if this dickhead wants to roll out of the ring because he's too much of a bitch to stay in here with me, count his ass out.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
He stay out there.
Yeah, like the whole he doesn't want to win that way.
Out there and I'm gonna roll him back in and win the right way.
He doesn't want to win that way. Nah, man.
But like, fuck that guy. If he wants to be a bitch and stay outside the ring, then stay outside the ring.
See, it's not that I don't want to win. Yeah, it's like, he wants to lose that way?
By all
Not me.
means, go on ahead.
Yeah.
Don't get on my back.
I want to see more faces like that.
Yeah.
Like, you can still be a good guy and win smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who'd have been
Like-
perfect at that? Who was perfect at that? Eddie Guerrero, man. He
Right,
was the smartest good guy ever. He was so good. Hey, I got this chair in my hand. Hey, you go ahead and hold that chair. Oh, you hit me. It's legendary. We need more Eddie Guerreros in our world. You know, we need more of that kind of smart face action for sure. Well, let's go ahead and move on though. We didn't talk about it last week. People were mad. One guy was, by people I mean one guy.
Yeah.
But
It was a big deal.
we're gonna talk about it here real quick because it's still developing, right? And that's Mariah May turning on Toni Storm. We mentioned it at the end of the show last week with our Rebook 24/7
We
championship.
wanted to see where it goes before
Giving
we
it
talk about it.
to the slipper. I mean, this is interesting. Mariah May comes out. She's been doing the I'm Toni Storm gimmick for a long time now. Right? No,
Mariah May did not come out.
who came out then?
Toni Storm. You can't convince me that was Mariah
I mean, the
May.
people in the crowd were convinced that was Toni Storm for a hot minute
that
there.
looked so much like Toni Storm.
Yeah.
And that
Really
honestly, I think kind of hurt the segment a little bit because the crowd was like,
A little confused.
that's Toni Storm, right?
But the promo was great.
But the
She
promo was
sounded cold-blooded as fuck. It was like,
Yeah.
I like this a lot. Matt, what do you take from it?
So I had on the initial turn after the Owen Hart tournament with the heel, the blood, it immediately I had a little bit of a visceral ick reaction because it fell into a trope that I normally don't like. I think I've talked about it on here, but I do believe it might be an exception. The trope of somebody we've known as like a babyface or whatever, right? The whole kind of time. This, and then one thing happens and all of a sudden they snap and they're wearing black and they have a leather jacket and they have rock and roll music and they talk like they're evil overnight. And I'm like, I know it's a shock and it's a swerve, so it's a hell of a headline. But as a fan of television and film, I love seeing things where I can have evidence of character change over time. But this one might be an exception because I could see obviously her partnership with Toni,
She needed it to be this way.
I was hiding it from her the whole time and everything like that. And now that it got me to winning the Owen Hart tournament, winning a title shot, now I can let it all out and let it all go. So like I can accept that. Although, even though it has, I would have liked to see this, as we confirmed earlier, single white female like thing where like I wish we would have seen a little bit. She kind of dressed as like Rocker Toni before in matches, but like in the last like 4 or 5 weeks, if she would have come out with like this piece of gear is just like Toni's.
Yeah.
Don't even acknowledge it. She has this jacket on. It's really like Toni's. You know what I mean? And even if Toni's like, oh, I like that. I like that throw. I like that show.
going into the match last week, her hair. Oh, I had my hair done just like you in honor
to
of
inspire me in this.
Yeah.
But to show like this just further truly like wild obsession and like I am taking over your world. And then she wins it and then goes nuts. And then the week after she comes out in full Toni Storm regalia. This week when this airs, I think she's debuting a film.
Yeah.
Right? A Mariah May film kind of thing. So like full like obsessive single white female thriller horror movie kind of thing.
You talk about the like them have laying the seeds and stuff, and I totally agree, but I will give them a little bit of credit because they did kind of already do that. Because when Mariah May showed up, she had no reaction. No one knew who she was. They attached her to Toni Storm right away. And the character was, I want to be next to Toni Storm. I idolize her and she's the champion. So I want to be in her sphere of influence, to take a Jericho term. Right. And rather than Mariah May being her own character, her own gimmick, her music was Toni Storm. Her Tron was Toni Storm. Her outfit was Toni Storm. Everything about her was Toni Storm.
That's
the
fair,
moves that she was doing in the ring where Toni Storm she was already doing the thing, right? We just didn't pay attention to it because, well, we didn't, like it just made sense, right? Because that was like how it's been for so long.
But it seemed like it's Tony's been making her in her image anyway
the whole time.
So
Sure.
the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So like to that degree it makes sense. But last week when I guess not last week, but the week before, when she goes up there and grabs that title and then just I love that she just immediately went for it. Not for because this is something we've been saying all along is like, man, when these two finally turn on each other, it's going to pop off. It's going to be a great feud.
Yeah.
And people always, always, always slow burn it.
Yeah.
It feels like. So I loved that, like, she was just like, fuck it, I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
And
0 to 60
just
kind of
went
thing.
after and was like, I'm not only calling my shot now, but I am calling it to the fullest. I'm calling my own number. I'm going in there hard, and I'm going to take this opportunity that I have been waiting for.
And I think at All In, we are going
like,
to get the new Mariah May. We're going to get that new character
and I'm
debuting
interested
in that
to
match.
see how Toni is when she finally comes back.
Yeah.
And
because
man, and
because
we,
how interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's just we talked for a long time about Toni Storm being on the run of a lifetime with Timeless and everything like that. But that and so often happens in wrestling, you have this great heel character, especially a very specific character, and they start getting really great reactions. But you don't want to just like flip them into a babyface because people are cheering you because you want that character to stay the same. And hers was a heel character, and so you're looking for that. Like, how can we get this character to stay the same, but like move them to the babyface side of the page? This was a great way to do it. I mean, to have her protege violently turn on her in the way to. So like to your point, Jake, that 0 to 60. Which again, like I don't always like. I am a big slow burn guy, but I think you are right. I think this is an exception where it was very fitting.
Yeah,
because and like also what would be interesting. I don't know if it's, and I don't know too because I also love the Timeless character of like, is it possible that we don't see Toni Storm until All In? I mean, we're talking about a month.
Possible
because think about if we don't see her until All In. Mariah May comes out first because she's the challenger. And how does she come out? Exactly like she did last night or last week, where she comes out dressed like Toni Storm, to her music, and then Toni Storm comes out. And does she come out as the OG Toni Storm?
Or a new version?
What I mean? Or a new version of Timeless Toni Storm.
So like
that's what I'm interested to see.
Yeah,
it could. I see the fun and the dichotomy of that. The only thing is, Timeless Toni Storm is the most popular persona she's ever done in her entire career.
Right.
To throw back to her like NXT UK or just like rocker Toni Storm, I think is a downgrade.
But what if it's like a Three Faces of Foley?
Sure.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean? Like Timeless Toni Storm is a persona that she takes on. Rocker Toni Storm is a persona that she takes on. I don't know. I could see you doing something like that because she has this Timeless version of Toni Storm we've seen is so. She's nuts.
Yeah, she's so out there.
Nuts.
Yeah.
And so like I can see there being this split personality within Toni Storm kind of in a way.
I actually have
you're right. I don't know.
I have a different per take. Not all that different, but it's just like I've noticed with Toni and her character development and like how the character started versus where the character is now. Where the character originally went to, it was like a sad, down on their luck Hollywood starlet, right? And that was like her whole thing. And then she needed to like find herself again, right? She was a diva. She was acting like a diva. She was acting like immature, ridiculous. And then she finds herself. She becomes Timeless Toni Storm, right? It starts to, and then you started to see that character change as well. You started to see Timeless Toni Storm start from a kind of like Marilyn Monroe pinup type of character still very much channeling that Marilyn Monroe energy, but instead it's going more toward this old school, like 50s, 60s style looking wrestler with her like tights and the way that she presents herself. So I would really like her to maybe go through the eras and like actually maybe go into like the, I'm trying to think of like the army,
like 70s or 80s.
Yeah, you remember, like the army propaganda marketing of the woman with like the arm and
Rosie the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveter. Yeah, I would like to see her maybe like go into like a Rosie the Riveter type of thing where she's like a badass that just wants to beat the crap out of Mariah May, while Mariah May is trying to take her timeless persona and make it her own. I'm excited.
You want to see her be Lacey Evans?
Actually, freaking based, yes, but like actually pull it off. Pull it off because Toni Storm has, great. I mean, I don't know much about Lacey Evans, but I just know it just wasn't working for her. The timings never worked out for her. It never, the stars never aligned. I think the stars are aligning here for Toni Storm to do something really creative and really unique. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to that. But before we wrap things up today, let's talk about our final topic, and that is going to be some blood and guts. Because goodness gracious me, what a show they have planned for us here. And I got to make sure I change that. Oh no, bam, there we go. Blood and guts this Wednesday. Are we expecting any limbs to not be on the body parts of the humans participating on the match?
I don't know. Ask Darby Allin which one he's going to lose
Darby.
this time.
Yeah.
What's going to break? What's he going to snap this time?
I'm afraid that Darby will take the guts part too seriously.
Yes. And
that he will have a large laceration across his...
You know who I'm excited for, though, in this match? The Acclaimed. I am excited that the Acclaimed are in this type of match because for the longest time we've only ever seen Max Caster and oh my God, he's Anthony Bowens. I was literally gonna say Anthony Dawkins, and I'm like, wait, that's pretty sure I was a football player. Bowens and Caster. What happened?
Angelo Dawkins.
Well, yeah, that one too. Oh my God, yeah. Jeez, I'm freaking thinking
racist. What?
How dare you? How dare you tell a Hispanic man? Bowens and Caster going into this matchup, being freaking, like doing a hardcore match is going to be crazy for them. We know what Swerve is capable of doing. Him and Hangman in the middle of the ring. Good Lord. And then we get to see Okada back in an absurd match again, which I like. Yeah. I like seeing Okada just outside of his comfort zone. It's been pretty entertaining. All right. So, Darby Allin's going to lose.
He's going to be too distracted by Mercedes.
Yeah. That's great, too.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
He's so great.
It's just so bizarre, but amazing. Yeah. So Blood and Guts. I think just a really big story out of this has to just be Hangman and Swerve, right? It feels like that has been the most important thing. Like, I'm not too into the Team AEW, Team Elite fight here because there hasn't really been much cross pollination of the characters on screen.
I agree. I think this is where I kind of had my issue with like the Blood and Guts thing, where it was like, it feels like this is potentially a beginning.
Yeah.
Even though I know they're kind of, it's the culmination of AEW versus the Elite, but like, I don't feel like there's been enough in the drama to the build up for this yet. But I feel like Swerve and Hangman are going to reunite and set off maybe in a direction. I feel like it is a good potential jumping off for the Young Bucks and then Caster and Bowens to maybe go into a tag title feud out of this kind of thing. So like, and then maybe, I don't know, could we see Darby and Jack? We've obviously seen a little bit of interaction with them, or maybe even Darby and Okada. I don't know, coming out. But it feels like a jumping off point with something that probably should be a button. But maybe that's just a little bit more of a closed-minded old school thing. Because it is blood and guts, it's like a Hell in a Cell thing. So it usually feels like it should be a blow off.
Yeah.
But this feels like it's going to be a jumping off point.
I agree. I get that
Which
feeling.
I don't know how I feel.
Because you know someone you didn't mention in that is Mark Briscoe. And he's holding a championship. And something just popped into my head where it's like, could out of this you start spinning up Belt Collector 2.0, except this time you do it with Okada. And you, because I really do think that like we're either gonna go to Swerve, Danielson, all in with Danielson winning and then dropping the belt to Okada, or it's going to be Swerve wins and then Swerve drops the belt to, because I think Okada's going to be world champion by the end of the year. I have a sneaking suspicion. And because they have done nothing with the Continental Championship. Literally nothing. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the belt, I mean, that's that. But it's a good prop to use right now for jumping up a belt collector storyline, because honestly, like,
but if
we go back to Kenny's,
have no prestige, do you give a shit that he's collecting them?
Here's the thing. I agree, but let's not forget that part of the reason why Kenny Omega looked so cool walking out with all those belts was because two of those belts from TNA were like, they were using two belts at the same time. They were doing the whole WWE World Heavyweight, that whole gimmick, right?
Yeah.
So yes and no, but I can see him beat Mark Briscoe and get the Ring of Honor championship just cause. Do I want that to happen? I don't really want that to happen, but it's just like, because what does Mark Briscoe do in this situation, right? Like, what does Mark Briscoe gain out of this? Because they're really putting a lot of stock into Mark Briscoe lately. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but they're putting a lot into him. He's been highly entertaining. So it's just...
He's unwell. Yeah, I love him.
I love him, dude. The barks at the end. Apparently,
I know so many people like him back home.
They brought in someone, a new person who used to work for WWE, Jen Pepperman or something like that.
Oh yeah,
and she apparently has been working with Mark Briscoe a lot on like refining his character, his promos, and all that stuff. Good. And you could definitely tell, like Mark Briscoe is such an entertaining character on AEW that like.
The most recent one on Dynamite was great.
Yeah,
like he's great.
He's amazing, and the conglomeration, like it's such a ridiculous team that is going to fall apart eventually. But the fact that it exists right now, we are the conglomeration. It's just too good. I freaking love it. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Doesn't come back and start a fake brood called the oh shit! The coagulation. That would be. I think that would be good.
You could do all the blood
coagulation people. Versus the
yeah. That would be good. I like that. I was thinking of what did they call it was coagulation was the map in Halo 2, right? From Blood Gulch, it was Blood Gulch and then coagulation.
Oh,
I think it was.
Oh yeah.
That's so good. Then we need a map called the conglomeration. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the Blood and Guts matchup. That'll be happening tonight as you were watching and listening to this podcast, and then we'll be talking about it next week and see whether or not Matt is right, whether this was a jumping off point for storylines or it was a culmination of some storylines. But in professional wrestling, it's always a jumping off.
Then who wins? Team AEW or Team Elite? Because I think the answer is different depending on if this is a jump off.
I think
or an ending.
That Team Elite needs to win.
I kind of think so too. Team Elite, yeah. But logic would tell you because the last like 8-man tag or whatever they had, that Elite won. So this is AEW getting it back. But I kind of agree. I think because this doesn't feel finished, it doesn't feel culminated, I think they can win again. And I don't know, maybe at the next big pay-per-view, we can get a big culmination match of some kind where
I think
Tony chooses a champion to face Okada, or I feel like this needs some more time in the oven for the Elite AEW feud.
I do too.
Yeah.
I even think there's a good possibility that we have someone new join the Elite.
Yeah, I was going to say shenanigans. We're going to get shenanigans one way or another. There's going to be shenanigans. This is
and they're gonna be blood.
It's gonna be a lot of blood. When you call your match blood and guts, there's only really one way to go. Right. So it's gonna be very violent. Can't wait. That's gonna be exciting. But of course, that takes us on to everyone's favorite segment of the week, the Rebooked 24/7 champion. You can see new graphic too. He took over the whole bottom. There it is. Engineering. Not really. All right. So who do we have? We have a lot of great options this week. I have mine. I'm gonna go last for mine, if that's okay. I feel quite confident with it. Matt, would you like to go first? Or
sure.
Okay.
I'll start us off.
Go for it.
So I had my head going between two. But then I realized they kind of fit in the same category because they were both just entertaining and caught the attention of a lot of people and everything. But I'm like, wait, those events, they happened and everything, but the real winners out of those events was one singular group of people. And so those will be my 24/7 winners because of the Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan segment. Between licking Dominic's face and Liv's shorts, the internet simps are the winners of the week.
Yeah, bro. People are thirsty.
At the mouth. They are thirsty as all get out if you hop on Instagram, X, everything. So they won this week out of that segment.
Yeah. They ate. They ate good.
The internet simps.
Internet simps, number one for the Rebook 24/7 champion of the week.
That's very good.
Jake, who's your pick?
Good. I mean, I'm inclined to nominate. I was going to nominate an announcer. Now I'm nominating two, and one of them is Tom Hannafin.
God, don't tell me
that. You took mine. You took mine.
Look, somebody shouted out one of us.
Yeah.
And someone shouted out all of us.
Yeah, that's right.
That was Tom Hannafin.
Yeah, that's right. Tom Hannafin with the shout out for Rebooked on TNA Slammiversary.
However, so if that was going to be, I apologize if that was going to be.
That was going to be mine. It was going to be heartfelt and kind. But you know what? That's even better.
No. You can still say that because I still want to nominate this other commentator. Tony Schiavone.
Oh, yes.
Uttering, let me tell you, speak bitch is to me on par. It's nearly on par with bitches leave from RoboCop. Okay?
Oh,
that was
so good.
Him just, I mean, it was so out of the blue.
And the way that everyone was like,
speak
whoa,
bitch, come on now.
Whoa.
Yeah, and everybody's like, whoa. I'm sorry, I'm just so mad at her. I'm so mad about last week.
It was so good. And Tony's
so off guard.
He's such a nice guy. Yes. So when you hear him say that, it's like, oh, that was out of character.
God damn. Speak bitch. That one floored me. So that'll be my nominee. GB, please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I was just gonna say that for myself, when I had come up with the idea of doing this podcast, never in a million years did I ever think that we would get a silly little one-liner shout out on a wrestling pay-per-view. So
I know.
I mean, Tom, I know you watch sometimes, but words cannot begin to express how meaningful that was. Not just to all of us, but for me as the guy who initially was like, hey, I want to make a wrestling podcast and I think this will be really fun. Hey, Jake, you want to do this with me? Hey, Matt, you think you'd be interested? Hopefully you're not too busy. And here we are 30 episodes later. And we got a shout out on a professional wrestling pay-per-view broadcasted around the world. It's pretty fucking cool.
That was wild.
So
that was absolutely wild.
That's I can agree on that. I can agree on that.
But internet simps make a make a good case. So you know what? Let's give it to the internet simps this week.
Oh, Hannafin! Because you know what? That Hannafin, you lost to internet simps this week. Suck it!
You know what?
Suck it!
I mean,
I'm going to use that on commentary.
The simps never win. They never win.
Tom Hannafin stays winning. The Simps never
true.
win. So you know
We'll
what?
give them
I'll
their
tell you
one
what.
win.
We will do a co-championship this week to
Sure,
Tom
okay.
Hannafin.
And who's to say
and the
Tom
Simps.
Hannafin isn't one of those internets?
And that is when Tom turns off the show. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us. But before we leave you, we decided rather than doing the cold open at the beginning and asking a question, we figured we'd have all you guys join us here. So now we're introducing our question of the day. And I'll have a graphic for it and everything next time. Question of the day. And this is an easy one, guys.
All right. Well.
Best wrestling video game, in your opinion, go.
Oh, No Mercy. It's not even a question.
No Mercy. All right.
They're done.
All right. Go for it. I have a left field one, but it's my favorite. It's your opinion, by the way. It's not universally. It's just your opinion.
Except mine's right.
Yes, yours is right.
Look, I'm not.
I want to be clear here. No Mercy is the right answer.
No Mercy
but there are
is
other great answers.
Objectively correct answer. Yes.
Matt just copped out. All right.
I just leaped on it.
Yeah.
Oh man, one that comes to mind is Royal Rumble on SNES.
Oh, that's so fun.
Ooh.
But then I did love WCW NWO Revenge.
That was a great one.
That one.
All of those
That's
THQ.
that's No Mercy Light.
It is. It's No Mercy
true.
Light.
But
it was
has
it's
Goldberg.
No Mercy for the
it was a
poor
WCW
kids.
game, which makes it kind of interesting and unique.
Yeah. Mine is so far from left field.
God.
Because it was a game that I had great memories with my brother because we played it so much, but it wasn't particularly great. And it was WWE Raw on Xbox.
Oh, I played that with my buddy on his Xbox.
That was not a particularly great game because finishing moves meant absolutely nothing in that game, and you were just hitting moves nonstop.
So
but it looked really
now.
good. It looked really good.
Remember that.
Yeah. Me and my brother played that for hours and until the night, like just until like 2-3 in the morning. Good memories.
I think because I at the time I remember getting the feeling because like they had put out the Smackdown games, which were PlayStation originally. So I think this was when Xbox started taking off. There's like, oh, maybe we'll make a Raw line of games for Xbox, kind of like our TV shows. They'll compete, kind of thing. Yeah. And then it didn't work. We'll just do Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah, it didn't work out, but you know what? Great game for just what it was in that period, in that era.
Here Comes the Pain. That was another good one.
Oh, Here Comes the Pain
is also
that was a goated game. Easy.
Yeah.
Also, never forget the original, baby. Pro wrestling. Okay, always and forever. All right, that's one of the best. Yeah. And oh my God, Fire Pro.
I was gonna say Fire Pro Wrestling. Yeah,
damn, that shit is good.
Yeah.
And WrestleQuest. All right, that is gonna do it for
and
us.
if you've made it this far, you tell us your answer.
Oh yeah,
down below.
Tell us who you think is. Tell us who you think your Rebook 24/7 champion of the week is, and on top of that, let us know which wrestling game was your personal favorite. We'd love to hear from you, and I got to make sure I remove all the assets before we do this. Okay, there you go. So make sure you follow us across all social media platforms at Rebook Pod. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're right around the corner on YouTube, so get out there, let your friends know about this show. Hey, in case you're wondering, we're kind of legit. Because we were shouted out on a pro wrestling show.
That's true.
You know, and one of the big three. So we're kind of legit, okay, guys?
That's true.
But that's going to do it for us. Also, a programming note as well for next week. I'm going to be in Korea. Well, actually, no, I will be in New York next week. Wait, no. Yeah, next week I'm going to Korea, dear Lord.
Be in New York
you'll be in New York next week. I'll be in Korea next week. So either we will get an episode out later or we might be skipping a week. I'm not entirely certain, but I think we'll try and get out a shorter episode later, just touching on some major story points.
At the very least, check us. Follow us on social media, hop in the Discord. We'll announce it there.
Exactly. And that is the best place to go. Jump into Discord and then you'll get the updates literally as they happen because that's where we are talking about them. So we'll be sure to keep in touch with everyone regarding that. But that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in to Rebook. Bit of a longer episode, but we hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care, everyone, and watch more wrestling. Peace out.
Peace.